Howdy, fans. Welcome to the first ever complete disaster of a hangout. It's fine. You may have been watching the other one. This is the right one, and I blame technology. Welcome to Matt Bates. Hello.
Hello.
There he is. Look, it changed the screen and everything. And say hello, Jim.
Hello.
Jim is pleased because he's got his new banner, which is very exciting. I don't know why we're here, really. I've had one of them days where I've sort of got loads of stuff done, and then I thought, I don't know what to do now. I'll just dick around on the internet. So I just put a tweet out to say, anyone fancy a Google Hangout? And then these two muppets said yes, so here they are.
And in typical fashion, we agree.
Promise not to take the mickey out of Matt at all, so I'm going to stop doing that now. That's all fine. We won't mention favourites on Twitter at all.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
So
it's because you're my favourite, Todd. That's why.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you.
Cool.
So what I've thought I would try and do, maybe every Friday, is just have like 20 minutes where I just sit on Google Plus and answer questions for a laugh.
Cool.
So you guys are testing it for me, which is cool. So have you got any burning questions? And it's got to be about social media. I'm not a doctor.
I have a lot of burning questions, highlighting the questions thing. So yeah, I've got a few for you, social media guru.
Oh.
And the first one is, if you guys don't know already, I'm Matt Bate. I'm a full-time live musician. I play live music all across the UK, and I release monthly YouTube videos. Now, my friend Todd always gives me tips, Todd's tips, in fact, to help me reach a wider audience using social media. And I've got another question for you today, Todd, which is, I'm releasing a video this Sunday at 8 PM. I'm going to release it on
massive advert.
Is this the longest plug ever?
Well, you've got to set the scene, you know.
Okay.
But, yeah. I was wondering, basically, I'm going to post this out at 8 o'clock, and is that the right time to do it? Is it the right day on a Sunday? What do you think?
That's a very good and very long, slightly shoehorned question. As with most things on social media, there's two answers to that. You could post it when more people are around, i.e. weekends, evenings, and you could argue the mornings are good as well. But I read some really cool information this week that says that why don't you post when there's less people there, because there's less competition, because obviously everyone's caught up on the idea. So I suppose it's a two answer for you. But I think 8 o'clock on a Sunday would be a good idea to do, because there's going to be more people around and I have more time to watch it and chill out and have more time on their hands. But thinking of other stuff on social media, try mixing it up a bit. And we're doing it with our social media posts, so we're just hitting it out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon just for the hell of it, see how it goes. But I think 8 o'clock would be good for you, Matt.
Cool. Yeah, that's useful, because we never know what time to post it, and there's always peaks and troughs and things, and we don't really get that. But if 8's kind of a time that might work, or maybe midday, that's kind of what we'd be looking at. And would you suggest a specific platform, or just go across the board and cover all the spectrum?
Definitely cover it all. I mean, obviously you've got more of a fan base on YouTube, so I suppose for you, publishing it is the important time. But then sharing it on other networks, different networks have different sort of trends and stuff. So Facebook, I'm actually testing ourselves at the moment around midday. But things like Twitter and stuff, I post it in the morning. I guess with music, you can't really post it early in the morning because people are going to have to listen to it. So you've got that whole... it's different for you, isn't it? Because I know in the morning I read a lot of stuff, but I'm probably keeping it quiet. People are in bed, etc., etc. So I think for you later on it's going to work better.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the advice.
It's a pleasure. Jim,
So,
how's your social going?
a non-famous YouTube person and someone that doesn't broadcast his talents on the internet, or tries not to. But
You have recently broadcast your talent
well, you know,
with the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge in front of God knows how many people.
very true.
That was pretty impressive.
Cheers, thank you very much.
This is your YouTube Hangout debut, James.
It was. So, as a pretty average Twitter, Facebooker, Instagram user, what are the kind of top 5 things to do and not do?
Oh, crikey. Okay. Top 5 things you should do. You should definitely use the best networks. So you mentioned a few there. I come across loads of businesses who just use all of them and they've signed up to everything. Although that's good because it stops someone else nicking it. So if you're Joe Bloggs Shoes and someone else has got Joe Bloggs Shoes on YouTube and Google Plus, the downside of it is you can't be brilliant on all those networks. So I know that Matt sort of focuses quite heavily on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and I do Twitter, Facebook. I guess blogging is my third. So try and not use all of them. Try and pick the right ones. Definitely experiment. You know, it changes all the time. If you consider what people search online changes, 20% of it every day is completely new. So what people want and what people are looking for always changes. So experimenting, just like I was saying to Matt, if you choose 12 o'clock and it doesn't work, try 1 o'clock, try 7 in the morning. You know, just mix it up a bit. Definitely be yourself. Show what you're about. Try not to be too salesy and boring. And you know, what's the most looked for thing on the internet, on social media? Certainly, cat videos. If you look at our look at our Facebook this week. Have you seen the post that went viral on our Facebook this week? Had over 500 shares. It was.
I might have seen it.
You've seen it. It was a cake, and it was a picture of a cake and a picture of a work shirt. Now that sounds dull until you read the caption, and it says 2 reasons why you should not name your child Clint. If you put an L and an I together on a birthday cake.
Yes, I did see this.
And that's actually our most shared Facebook post ever. It's huge. Wow. It's 65,000 reach of an audience. The reason is because it's funny and it's slightly rude, and that's what works on social media. So I say this is probably one of the don'ts as well as one of the do's, is be entertaining, be fun, and share stuff people like. And if your business happens to shoehorn into that, we kind of shoehorn into that because we always share like marketing fails and graphical disasters and fonts that don't work. So it kind of shoehorns in. If you can do that, then that works quite well. Some don'ts. Definitely don't forget about your social media. Lots of people have like a Twitter profile and they forget to reply to people, or they have a Facebook account and they don't really use it properly. Or, you know, I always say if you're going to have these social media channels, treat them like an email address or a phone. You know, you wouldn't ignore those. So you can't ignore social media, especially as it's so public. It's so obvious when you've ignored it, whereas if you don't reply to one email, that one person knows. Whereas if you don't respond to tweets and Facebook updates, it's really obvious to lots and lots of people that you're ignorant or you've forgotten about them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I hope so. It's when you look at it like that, you think, well, actually, yeah, it's true. It's right out there. Definitely don't rant. I mean, I know I rant occasionally. Can't help myself. Sorry, Thomas Cook Airlines and all those other people. But you probably shouldn't rant, especially if you're tweeting for a big business, and especially you, Matt, because you're Mr. Nice Guy Music.
Well, you say that, Todd.
We are.
Only puts across on the internet.
Yeah, that's his game face. Yeah. And definitely don't, if you're thinking, if you think, you mentioned Instagram now, Instagram is really hashtag rich and it works amazingly well on Instagram. On Instagram you could add 25 hashtags and no one would bat an eyelid. But obviously if you start doing that...
Question actually, because I've been trying out Instagram recently and just actually Reading Roadie down here or Jim is way more on it at Instagram than me.
Is
it? I've been trying it and doing loads and loads of hashtags.
I'm going to throw this out there, though. I can tell you why, Matthew. So if I load Instagram...
Full name. I got full name.
Right. Let me find your Instagram right now. So your last photos, right? Starbucks. Starbucks. Selfie, selfie, selfie.
Listen, yeah.
Starbucks.
Starbucks, right?
Go on there, look.
Stop abusing the Starbucks, right?
People don't want to see photos of coffee.
What do they want to see photos of though, Jim?
That's what you're doing, not drinking coffee.
Do they want to see photos like this?
I think maybe that's better than a cup of coffee with your name on it. Because let's face it, that's so too. Hang on a minute, I've got no sunglasses here. I'm desperate for props. I've got money. And a battery backup for an iPhone, but I haven't got any props like glasses and stuff. That's a gutter. Say that. We're going slightly off topic, but
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, my question on the topic was just it is okay to do crazy amounts of hashtags. That's how people find you, and it doesn't annoy people like it would on Twitter.
No, that's it. That's the point I was making. Like, different networks have got completely different languages and stuff. So, yeah, on Instagram, just chuck a load of hashtags out there. Most people find me on Instagram through searching. So if you use the Explore button on Instagram, where you press the Explore button, and it just brings up loads of searches based on what you usually, double tap for like, and most of the hashtags that you usually use. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see lots of it is pictures of chihuahuas because I've got one. It just lingers around doing funny poses. But when I go to that Explore on Instagram, I do see lots of other pictures of chihuahuas because it's the same hashtags and stuff. So on the flip side of that, if you want to get found on Instagram, the best thing you can do is constantly promote and use the right hashtags for your industry, because then when someone goes to explore on theirs, you should pop up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's useful. I don't think I do enough.
You've probably got lots of people who like Starbucks following you, Matt, and that's about it.
Yeah. People who are into Starbucks, they know who to follow.
Yeah. If they want tips on how to write a name on the side of a cardboard cup, they follow you.
Yeah, oh well. So note to self, no more hashtag Starbucks and more hashtag music.
Yeah, a hashtag music out on YouTube on Sunday. Those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Hashtag music. I've written it down. I won't forget it. It's there.
On a post-it note.
Is that a pink post-it note?
Yeah, I have other colours, but that was the one that's most readily available. That's my stickers.
Any more burning questions, boys?
Jim, what are you feeling?
One
Jim
second.
has a think.
1 second.
Well, Jim has a think and answers
The door.
the door. Yeah, I find that I'm doing a lot of Facebook posts in the evening, just because I think everyone's home from work and home from school, and I always wonder if there is a right method to it. So what I do is I go onto my page and I post. Here's the detail. I go onto my page and I post some text and then a picture, and I post it out, and it gets not everyone sees it on Facebook, which is kind of sucky, and it gets a few views. But I've started doing this now that I tag my personal profile, so everyone that's on my personal profile sees the picture, and everyone that follows my music page sees the picture, and the reach seems to get a bit more. But is there anything I can do to push that reach further without going ahead and boosting and doing anything with money?
Yeah, I mean, boosting is an interesting one because I've had some degree of success with it, but most of it says it's had thousands and thousands and thousands of people see it, but then how come nobody liked it, or how come nobody commented, or how come nobody liked my page after it? I'm always a bit skeptical of that. I think one of the best ways, as we proved this week, to get further reach on Facebook is to be entertaining and not salesy. So if you're posting new videos to your music, it's not salesy, but it kind of is. Watch my stuff. Whereas if you can have more of an entertaining angle to it, or maybe there's a hook, maybe there's a hilarious outtake of the video, or not clickbait, because you've got to be careful of that as well. But maybe that would help you. And certainly getting allies in, so getting Jim to share it on his, getting me to share it on mine. Yes, that works. So tagging yourself brings in another 200 people that could see it, so it's going to help your reach. But to get it, they consider, if you think about that birthday cake we shared this week that's got 65,000 people have seen it, the only reason that they got so far was because people shared it. So they actually shared on the post that they saw from ours. It went on their personal profile, and then their friends saw it, and then they shared it, and off it went. So,
Whoa. Yeah, I'm looking at that now. 510 shares.
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
How is that? That's amazing.
But it's not a link to my workshop. It's not a subscribe to my newsletter. It's not the latest blog post. It's a picture of a birthday cake.
Yeah.
So yes, we've had an extra 100 likes on our Facebook page this week, which is great. So we've got those guys on board, but we've got to keep them entertained. You know, the posts we've posted after that have had more reach because there's more people engaged. So Facebook's like, these guys are on it. You know, people really like their stuff. I'm going to show their stuff to more people. One interesting thing that's just dropped into my head is the way that the algorithm for Facebook is now built, which is the computer code, which shows you your stuff. In theory, is only supposed to show you a certain number of things. But because it's Facebook, and because the whole idea of Facebook is connecting with your mates and your family, if the words in your post relate to things like birthdays, celebrations, or, you know, anniversaries, things like that are more likely to appear. So, for example, Matt, when you're gigging at a wedding, that's a celebration of a wedding. So if you got those words into it, in theory, I've not tested it myself, Facebook is more likely to show those posts. But that's just been chucked around the industry. But it does make sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's really interesting. The idea of I'm not a big salesy type, and I think people switch off instantly. You're right when you go and say, buy my product, buy into my idea. But what I like to do is chat with people and things, and maybe while I'm doing my chatting, there's another element which you suggested, which is actually do the fun side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I haven't really explored, which I definitely will check out.
Well, see, I mean, we're just taking a mickey out of your Starbucks stuff there, but it's funny, you know, and you get some great photos and stuff. That works really well on Facebook because it's Facebook, and that's what it's all about. It's when you look at the 3 or 4 different social media channels you use to work together, you don't put the same stuff on each one. Different things work on different ones at different times. So, you know, Jim's probably smashing it on Instagram because he's an outdoor guy and he's got loads of cool things to take pictures of, and he'll have a good audience for those sorts of things. Whereas your Starbucks images on Instagram are just not going to hit home. But actually on Facebook they might do if you had, I don't know, another angle to it, a funny, quirky angle to it, or a cat in the background.
Yeah. Cool.
Right.
From now on, I'll
good Forest, don't you, Jim?
Yeah. You can't beat a selfie with a chainsaw.
Yeah. Some of Jim's selfies have got really good actually in the Reading Roadie hashtag thing. And he posts himself. He was on top of a pub the other day on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that.
Doing some handyman stuff, and then he was on top of a cliff.
Yeah.
And that got a big reach. And then you were up a tree with a chainsaw, and all these random things. It's just this one guy in all these different positions. I guess that's quite useful.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about you as a thing, you and a guitar in different places would be interesting. You know, when you're out and about in your travels, you could almost document your travels because you get around a bit, you know, with images. Put them on Instagram, and then you'll have those photos on your iPhone, and then you can use those on your Facebook page or create an album with them. You know, it's not like you have to recreate everything every single time you do it. You just have to use it slightly differently in the different networks.
Depends on what you're using.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, like that.
We're just brainstorming right now.
Yeah, that's cool. And the last kind of question that I have in my arsenal of social media questions for you this evening is basically so we talked about my little video and we talked about, you know, when's best and how to post and get a good reach, and the concluding thing that I think is once I've shared my information, so I've got one video that I'm going to share, do I share that once, or do I share that at different times and just keep changing the angle, or will that annoy people? Do I share it once? Do I share it more than once to get a bigger reach?
I think you do. You definitely share it more than once. Certainly when you think of Twitter, there's a rule of 21 for me. So if you think about normal advertising, it's a rule of 3. So you have to share something 3 times before anyone gives a crap about it or notices it. But on social media, it's so much busier. So you almost times it by 7, and it becomes the rule of 21. So for example, when I schedule a new blog or when I post a new blog, I share that a lot. And you'll probably see it if you follow me a lot on Twitter. You'll see my blog posts all the time. I try and mix up how I sell it, if you like, online. So I'll slightly change the title, or I'll ask a question and put the link instead, or I'll pick out a part of the blog that might appeal to a different audience and put that in there. So I'm reusing the same content and I'm sharing it quite a lot, but I'm giving it to different people with a different sort of angle, if you like, and that can be different times too. So in the morning, you know, if it's a really long blog post, you're probably not going to get them to read it because they haven't got the time of day. So you think actually if it's a 3,000 word blog post, I'll just only ever post that at night. The different times, you'll be amazed, you'll get different results. I'm getting some good hits at midday at the moment because people seem to have that sort of downtime before lunch for reading.
Oh, wow.
But definitely share it more than once. But share it differently on different platforms. So when you've got it on Facebook, it's actually really harmful on Facebook to not get likes on your posts and not get comments, because the more that happens, your reach just goes down and down and down and down and down. So always try and get a like. Always try and aim to get a comment. Certainly with the videos and stuff, just say, guys, what do you think? And what do you think of the set? You know, where should I go next time? What shall I cover next time? Or where to go and gig next? You know, try and get some sort of interaction on there.
That's a good shout. Really good shout.
And then,
So it's okay to post more than once. I always get really scared, like, oh, I'm going to really annoy people. But the rule of 21, I've written that down. That's a cool rule. Share it 21 times, but do it in different ways at different times and make it interesting and different for different platforms. I'm the kind of person who just goes, okay, I've spelt all this correctly and I've created my little 2 lines of text, and that's a nice picture, that'll do, and I'll just keep putting it in different places again and again and again, hoping that it gets reach. But the idea of keeping it active and keep moving with it is quite cool, I think.
yeah,
Changing it up.
You know, people will think, oh, maybe that's something different, won't they? And what's this? You know, before you know.
Yeah.
that definitely happens with me. I know from the analytics on my site that I get, you know, lots and lots of visits, but when the analytics tells me which viewers are the same, and you know, you say for argument's sake, a blog gets 1,000 views, you know, 600 of them are the same people. So 400 of those views have been the same people coming back and reading it again, which is great for my site. But they've probably come to it from social media, which I know of is 80–90% of my traffic. So I know that they've come through it again and read it again from a different post because maybe they thought it was different. You know, I'm not really trying to trick people, but I'm just trying to give them a different angle on it, a different viewpoint on it to get them to look at it.
Yeah.
That's cool. It makes sense because you've got this huge body of work and you're only selling one bit, if I'm getting what you're saying correctly, and then you've actually got loads of other information that might appeal to loads of other people. So why not, instead of selling that one bit as a whole, sell the different bits? So if I relate that to me, it could be the music. I could sell it as, this is my new cover, which I always do, but I could also do it as, are you a fan of this band? Well, we've covered this band, so have a look at our different version. It could be, did you like the area where we filmed? And then what is the next cover we should do? Where should we film next? Different things like that. That's really cool. It sparks off loads of different ideas.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the most viewed blogs this year that we posted, apart from one that went viral recently, was a blog which was sort of, I think it was 7 or 8 things small businesses should do. And what I did was, instead of just sharing the blog title and the link, every time I shared it, I gave one of the points. So point 1 was, I don't know, build an email list, and point 2 was go on social media. So whenever I shared it, I shared the title, and then I shared point 1, you know, build an email list, put a link in it. So every single time I shared the blog, it was like I had 7 different blogs, but it was the same blog. I was just picking out the highlights from it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you've got something different each time you post it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's cool.
Well, I suppose with
Cool.
your music, Matt, you just need to, you need to pick out the different elements of it, and it's, you know, maybe the set will appeal to some people, but the music will appeal to others. But then, as you say, the band you've covered, they're going to appeal to others. So you kind of got to. It's difficult, certainly on Twitter, when you've only got a few characters to do. And on Facebook, you can't write War and Peace, although you could do. People are very lazy and they look for shortcuts. So when you're flicking through Facebook, if someone's written War and Peace, unless you're really nosy, unless it's that friend that always has a meltdown on Facebook and it's car crash to read, unless it's that, generally you'll just skim it because you think, I can't be bothered to read.
Yeah.
Characters of rubbish, I can't be bothered. So I'm actually testing at the moment on Facebook, literally just putting a headline, a link, and putting it on there. I mean, the Clint cake was literally 7 or 8 words and a picture. So people
you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 words and a picture, and you got 510 shares, 514 likes, and counting. That's not going to stop there. That's going to keep growing, I imagine.
No, because it keeps being shared. So today it was shared, I don't know, another 10, 12 times. So that's another 10 or 12 people with 200-300 friends on Facebook to see it. It just off it goes, you know. And unfortunately, it isn't anything to do with our business. It's just the cake. But you know, it's interesting for me to look at the stats and stuff and see how it performs. And it just proves that actually people are juvenile on Facebook. And if you can be slightly juvenile, you'll get more reach.
People go, that's funny. That's what it is, isn't it? So,
it's what it comes back down to why people share. People share that because they want to make their friends laugh.
Yeah.
You know, they'll share music if they want to show that it's the type of music they want to be affiliated with. They'll share a brand's post if it's a brand that they feel that they've got some sort of attachment to. So when you want to get shares and stuff, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to give someone something that they would want to share to show off who they are or what they're about. So yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
well, does make sense, doesn't it? Very
Yeah,
clear.
it's an interesting one, putting yourself in the shoes of a Facebook user and saying what do they want from Facebook and tailor your service to be that. It's interesting.
Well, you think about it, you know, social media is really just for what we're doing now, chatting and having a laugh, messing around. It's not really for businesses. It was never for businesses. Facebook was generated to connect kids at college together. You know, Twitter was created for a small business to communicate with each other. It was never meant to be a social network. You know, Google Plus is probably the first one that's come along to be a bit of both and everything, because Google Plus is really linked to all the Google Places and YouTube and everything else. But most of them really, they're just for people to chat and chill out and hang out. And if you come along with your business cards and your banner and then you fail, you shouldn't be surprised, because it's not what people want.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting.
So guys, should we call it a day and go and do what we do on a Friday night, which is probably I don't know, cook dinner and
Play some music.
play some music.
Cool. It's lovely to see you guys.
And you, Matt, and hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. Are you up at the Leamington Light switch on? Here comes another.
Yeah, I'm up at the lights. I'm on stage at 1:20 now, so a little bit earlier than initially planned. But I'm going to be having some fun with the people of Leamington in the street at the parade, which is great fun.
Awesome. I look forward to it. I'll see you there, man.
Cool. See you there.
Awesome.
Now, see you soon.
Cheers, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Ciao.